So I love Death Note. Long story short, it's an anime about a student finding a notebook which he can use to kill anybody just by writing down their name and having a picture of their face in his mind. Yeah, I know, a lot. I feel like everywhere I turn, I see Death Note on my For You page. It's turned into an obsession. But I also love TOCA BOCA. So I decided I can merge two worlds together by recreating Death Note characters in TOCA BOCA. First, we have L, the world's greatest detective and the man leading the investigation against Kira. Known for solving impossible cases across the globe, L is mysterious, secretive, and almost impossible to understand at first. Very few people know what he looks like, and even fewer know his real name. Despite his messy appearance, dark eye bags, awkward posture, and obsession with sweets, L possesses an incredible level of intelligence and observation. He's calm under pressure, constantly analyzing everyone around him, and always thinking several steps ahead. His battle of deduction and strategy against Kira becomes one of the most iconic rivalries in anime history. L is usually wearing a simple white long-sleeve shirt and baggy jeans, matching his messy and isolated lifestyle. Next is Misa Amane, a famous model, actress, and passionate supporter of Kira. At first glance, Misa appears bubbly, energetic, fashionable, and carefree, but there's far more depth to her than people expect. After experiencing tragedy in her past, Misa develops an intense loyalty toward Kira and becomes emotionally attached to Light very quickly. She's willing to sacrifice almost anything for the people she loves, even when it puts her own safety at risk. While other characters often underestimate her because of her cheerful personality, Misa can actually be very determined and emotionally strong. Her gothic fashion style and dramatic personality also make her one of the most visually recognizable characters in the series. Then there's Light Yagami, an exceptionally intelligent high school student who discovers the Death Note and begins secretly operating as Kira. Before finding the notebook, Light is seen as the perfect student, handsome, polite, and academically gifted, admired by nearly everyone around him. But after getting the power to kill criminals simply by writing their names, his sense of justice slowly transforms into a dangerous god complex. Light genuinely believes he's creating a better world, but his methods become increasingly manipulative and ruthless over time. His constant psychological battle against L drives much of the series, with both characters trying to outsmart each other while hiding their true intentions. Of course, none of this could have happened without Ryuk, the Shinigami who originally dropped the Death Note into the human world out of boredom. Ryuk is a death god who becomes fascinated by the chaos humans create when given too much power. Rather than choosing sides, he mostly watches events unfold for his own entertainment, often laughing at the situations Light creates. With his tall skeletal appearance, eerie grin, and obsession with apples, Ryuk became one of the most iconic supernatural anime characters ever. Even though he can seem intimidating, he often brings dark humor and unpredictability to the story. And finally, Matsuda, one of the younger members of the Kira task force and arguably the most emotional and human member of the group. Unlike characters such as L or Light, Matsuda isn't portrayed as a genius, which often causes others to underestimate him. However, what he lacks in experience, he makes up for with sincerity, loyalty, and determination. Matsuda genuinely wants to help people and believes strongly in justice, even when situations become morally complicated. His emotional reactions and occasional awkwardness bring balance to the darker tone of the series, making him one of the most relatable characters in Death Note. I also decided to recreate two rooms, Light's bedroom and L's meeting place where the task force was originally created. So I started off by making Light's room over here. This is where he originally started using the Death Note and hid it too. I would consider it pretty neat and tidy in comparison to my style because it usually consists of more messy components. Of course, I'm talking about my TOCA BOCA building style, but I guess if you looked at my room, you couldn't really say it's the cleanest thing ever. It's not as tidy and neat, but I don't know. Half of this entire process was just placing books on the shelves and inside that little closet thing. I don't know, he has a lot of books in his room. We don't see most of it. As I said earlier, it is pretty tidy and neat and simplistic, so I kept it to a more minimalistic style, you know? This is a pretty nice time for the question of the day. It would be great if you guys could suggest some more fandoms or ask me to do any more shows or animes in TOCA BOCA. That would be pretty fun. I could also use this as an opportunity to watch new animes because Death Note is my first anime, but yeah. Now, the second one I think was a little harder because it's not really like a bedroom type of thing. It's kind of a mix of a living room and maybe like a meeting area. I think it's more appropriate to call it a lounge. It's where the task force was created by L, and where he gathered everybody: Matsuda, Mr. Yagami, which is Light Yagami's dad. I know it's a really messy situation, but Light Yagami's dad, aka Kira's dad, is a police officer trying to track down Kira. So it's kind of like an ambush situation in his own house, you know? But whatever. This is where he gathered all the policemen. Not all of them, really. Some of them dropped out. Whatever. He gathered them here, and they created the task force, set some rules, and that's that. It's really iconic in my opinion because this is where L, I think this is where he kind of solidifies his obsession with candies and sweets and cakes. So that's a really iconic place in my opinion.